Alarcon. And before we go on in our agenda, I would request, or unless my colleagues have any questions on items 4 and 5, we will put those on the consent calendar. Is that okay? Or do you have
I have a brief question on item 4.
on 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll keep that one. We'll just put item number 5 on consent.
Okay.
And then what's remaining is items 1, 2, and 3, which we will take together, and 4. But before that, we have a number of public comment cards, and we'll take those up at this time. I understand that Councilmember Cardenas will be joining us later, and Councilmember Zine could not make it today. So with that, let me take the public comment cards and start with Kelly Meyer. Yes, if you could take a seat there, please.
Good afternoon, Chairman Huizar and members of the committee. My name is Kelly Meyer, and I'm here today to support moving forward quickly with a hearing on the issue of waste franchising in this committee. I'm a trustee of the Natural Resources Defense Council and co-chair of the NRDC Los Angeles Leadership Council. The Leadership Council is a volunteer group composed of individuals who leverage their environmental commitment to support NRDC's mission, which is to safeguard the earth, its people, its plants and animals, and the natural systems on which all life depends. Given the leadership's concern over waste, we are advocating the city to move towards the most accountable system to transform the currently out-of-control open permit system. This means moving to an exclusive franchise system with strong standards. A key part of moving forward under any system is hearing this issue in this committee. Given the extensive public process that has happened to date, it is important to hear this matter as soon as possible. While opponents to implementing a truly accountable system want more delays, the time is far past for half measures and slow movement, and accordingly, I encourage this committee to place this matter on the agenda as soon as possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dana Bachco? Dana Bachco, right? Second one was correct? Or you'll tell us right now.
It's Dana Bachco.
Bachco, okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman Huizar and members of the committee. My name is Dana Bachco, and I'm here to support agendizing quickly the hearing on the waste franchising issue. I was recently appointed as a public member of the California Coastal Commission, so I can appreciate all the issues in front of you and all the time that it takes. But as the co-chair of NRDC Leadership Council, which is the capacity I'm in today, I would like to say that there are few environmental issues more important than waste management. In order for the city to meet its ambitious promise to become a zero-waste city, we need to implement a system of waste collection at businesses and apartment buildings. These buildings comprise 70% of the waste we send to the landfills. The Board of Public Works Consultants have determined that an exclusive franchise provides the best mechanism to achieve zero-waste goals. An exclusive franchise will reduce air pollution, reduce stress on our streets from garbage trucks, and also create the most accountability. Given these considerations, I encourage you to place this item on the agenda as expeditiously as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Veronica Padilla?
Good afternoon. My name is Veronica Padilla. I'm the Deputy Director for Pacoima Beautiful, and Pacoima Beautiful is dedicated to bringing residents of the Northeast Valley together to address the needs of challenges they face through long-term sustainable economic and environmental solutions. The changes Zone Waste LA has called for nearly 2 years now in our commercial and multifamily waste systems are changes that our community desperately needs and are waiting for. You know that communities like Sun Valley live every day with disproportionate number of waste facilities in their backyards. You know that these facilities operate without adequate oversight and without standards to protect the people who are exposed to them. As a result, pollution from dirty trucks is causing lung disease in children and adults. As you know, that residents living around the facilities deal with noise and relentless traffic that is a result of inefficient system which sends too much waste to landfills rather than recycling. You know that waste is not going to go away. It's a product of our everyday lives. But we all know that the City of Los Angeles has a responsibility to make our system one with maximum accountability, and one that is healthier for our environment and for the people who live here. So we ask you to attend to this issue with more urgency. None of us can wait any longer, and we shouldn't, when so many have come together on a solution that is best for our city. Pacoima stands with Don't Waste Delay and other community partners here today. We urge you to hear the proposal for an exclusive franchise system in this committee without further delay. Thank you.
Thank you. Candace Kim?
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Candace Kim, and I am here on behalf of the Coalition for Clean Air. CCA strongly urges this committee to move with urgency and schedule a hearing to consider the proposal for a franchise system for waste and recycling in LA. We support a franchise system that will guarantee all of the trucks under this system will be subject to South Coast Air Quality Management District Rule 1193, and that this requirement is enforceable. In addition, it will ensure that haulers will be held accountable for sorting waste properly so that we slow methane emissions from landfills. Our city suffers every day from the immense public health impacts of air pollution, so we urge you to schedule a hearing for this issue today for our neighbors, our communities, our environment, and for our great city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Leslie Van Kuren Campbell?
Good afternoon. My name is Leslie Campbell. I'm a zero waste and sustainability consultant. I do most of my work with small businesses who want to recycle, but face many unnecessary challenges in doing so. The system we have now for commercial and multifamily discards isn't serving them. Many businesses want to recycle, but cannot. When I managed a restaurant, I had to break the law and dump my recyclables in neighborhood blue bins. It's also a system in which many businesses, mainly small businesses, are charged arbitrary and unfair rates for basic service. These problems are increasingly frustrating for businesses who are trying to meet the demands of customers who want to know they're supporting green businesses, businesses that value the triple bottom line, people, planet, and profit. Fairness and equity in service options is only possible in a system where companies are incentivized to put their best foot forward and held accountable in a high-road competition. Fairness and equity in rates is only possible in a system where companies can spread and amortize costs and where rates are locked into long-term franchise agreements. The way we can help small businesses thrive and create jobs is to let them recycle and to ensure that they are paying fair rates for their service. Some of us in the small business community have been here many times before to ask for change, and we're still waiting for it. We cannot afford to wait any longer. Please take up the issue of a strong franchise in this committee without further delay. Let's create a strong franchise system that helps small businesses to recycle and create local jobs and provides them with fair rates when every dollar counts. Thank you.
Thank you. Hilary Gordon?
Good afternoon. My name is Hilary Gordon. I'm the chair of the Zero Waste Committee of the Los Angeles chapter of the Sierra Club. And I'm here today to ask that you set a hearing in the coming weeks on the issue of an exclusive franchise for commercial and multifamily waste and recycling in Los Angeles. Over a year and a half ago, Sierra Club helped launch the Don't Waste LA Coalition with nearly 30 of our environmental, community, faith, and other partners, because even with our city's zero waste policy, Los Angeles was still sending 3 to 4 million tons of trash to landfills every year. We knew we couldn't afford the space, and we can't afford the environmental destruction. Today, we are still here, and we're waiting for this committee to see the urgency the rest of us feel to address the problems in our current system for commercial and multifamily waste. We're wondering what's the holdup. What more do you need to know before you will move to fix the problems by adopting the best system for the City of Los Angeles? There has been rigorous discussion in and out of the walls of this building about what's wrong and the best way to fix it. In the summer of 2011, there were 8 stakeholder meetings, hearings in communities throughout the city. A third-party consultant, HF&F, was commissioned to do an exhaustive report surveying all options for a better system. The Telus Institute issued an independent report showing clearly that more recycling equals more jobs. The issue's been before this committee once, the Ad Hoc Committee on Waste Reduction and Recycling twice, the Board of Public Works 3 times, and full council once. We know there's another third-party report, a rate and economic analysis by HF&H in progress. And we believe the Bureau of Sanitation is working on a final report to include the motions from the last ad hoc hearing as we meet. We're asking you today, asking you, it's time to answer the call of communities who are living with waste facilities in their backyard or with relentless truck traffic in their alleyways and residential streets. It's time to protect the workers in an industry who provide a vital service to us all, but are getting injured and even killed. It's time to take care of our environment, and it's time finally to realize the zero waste vision we have committed to as a city. It's time for a full hearing on this issue of adopting an exclusive franchise system for commercial and multifamily waste in the city of Los Angeles. Please act to schedule this hearing today. Thank you very much. And I'd just like to ask all of the members of the Don't Waste LA Coalition and Repower LA to stand.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ira Zirin.
Good afternoon, Chairman Huizar and members of the committee. My name is Ira Zirin. I am an active member of the NRDC Los Angeles Leadership Council, a board member of Tree People, and involved in many environmental issues locally and nationally. I'm especially concerned about our responsibility to minimize the legacy of waste we will leave for future generations. I'm here today to ask for your support in quickly moving forward with the committee hearing on the waste franchise proposal. Unlike the existing single-family waste system, while the existing single-family waste system has been a success, it only addresses part of our city's problem. The current waste system for apartment buildings and businesses in Los Angeles is woefully inadequate to meet the need of minimizing the impact of our waste collection system on residents. The city has conducted an extensive outreach with more than 8 stakeholder meetings and a long public hearing at the Board of Public Works. It is far past time for this committee to hear this matter, and I encourage you to hear this as expeditiously as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for those who came to testify today for the exclusive waste franchising. In this committee, look forward to hearing that item, and I know that we've been waiting for some reports to come to the committee. We've been expecting the CAO report, a rates and economic study that Public Works has commissioned, and a further report from Public Works that incorporated the issues raised by the Council and Ad Hoc Committee. It's my understanding that it's the CAO report that we are waiting for, and the others could come relatively quickly. So at this time, I'd like to request the CLA to work with the CAO and the Public Works Commission to get those reports as quickly as possible to the committee. And I understand that Mr. Alarcon, the chair of the Ad Hoc Committee on Waste and Energy, is interested in having a joint committee with this committee so that we expedite that item and not have to do one after the other. So, Mr. Alarcon, if it's okay with you, I'll ask my staff to work with your staff to schedule something soon after the recess break that the council is undertaking in the first 2 weeks of July, if that's possible, if that's okay with you. Okay.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank everyone who came out today, and this is an item that I'm looking forward to hearing, and we're requesting the CLA to work with the CAO. Is the CAO here? We have a conflict with a different committee. But we're going to work with them to get those reports expeditiously to our committees. Either way, we will hold a hearing, with joint committee hearing with the Ad hoc Committee on Waste and Energy soon after the recess break. The recess break is the first 2 weeks of July, the second and third week of July, correct?
Yeah, first, actually from July 5th through July 20th.
Okay.
So council to return on the 23rd.
Okay, so sometime at the end of July, we could have that joint committee hearing. Okay, great. Thank you very much. We look forward to those reports. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry, we had one final public comment card. Don Kronos? Pardon me? Yes, you could take a seat there.
First off, I'd like to thank whoever is responsible for forming this committee for the fact that it exists. It's a good thing. I was thinking specifically, I mean, there are several different things I'd like to say, but obviously, 2 minutes, you can't say a heck of a lot, so I'll try to keep it short. One thing I was thinking very specifically, I just wanted to mention in the light of all this talk about recycling, I know there are a lot of homeless people that, go around like, digging through trash to get bottles and things like that that they can, turn in for a, I'm not sure how that works, like a recycling fee or something. Something I guess is actually included in the price of things that have those containers. And I was thinking, might there be some way that some of these people could actually be hired into a recycling plant to help, if they're sorting through stuff anyway, instead of leaving a mess out on the street, then they're doing something useful, they're getting paid for it, maybe they can, get themselves a nice apartment. And anyway, just a thought. Also, I wanted to just touch on the idea of looking more into the use of hydrogen fuel cells for, as a way of having a little more clean energy in the area. So just a brief mention of it.
Great.
I'll let the rest of my time go.
Thank you very much, sir. Did I miss a card? Oh, yes. Ashley. Koff. Yes, I'm sorry. It was mixed in with the other report there, so sorry about that.
So it was okay.
Yeah.
Well, good afternoon, Chairman Huizar. Thank you, and members of the committee. And first, I wanted to say thank you so much for the plastic bag ban. We are thrilled. Thank you. As I said, my name is Ashley Koff, and I'm here today to support moving forward quickly with a hearing on the issue of waste franchising in this committee. I'm a registered dietitian and an author and a member of the media, and on a daily basis I have the privilege to impact both personal and public behavior. And I'm also an active member of the NRDC Los Angeles Leadership Council. As we've discussed, waste issues are of paramount importance to the sustainability of the city of Los Angeles. In the past months, I have spent time examining the issue of how to reduce the city's environmental footprint through improving the system to collect waste at large apartment buildings, like where I live in Venice, and businesses. After examining this issue, I think an exclusive franchise with strong standards is the logical move to create the most accountability and make sure that the city meets its environmental objectives. There has been considerable time and debate on this issue over the last year, and given the lengthy public dialogue to date and the need to address this issue and environmental challenge quickly, I encourage this committee to place this matter on the agenda as soon as possible, as you were just saying. So thank you. Thanks for
Thank you very much. I'm just curious, Ashley, there's a proposal to ban sodas from our parks and in our libraries. Would you support that or not?
100%.
Okay.
But not to replace it with juices or other
High sugar.
great water, using glass bottles, or bring your own bottle.
Yeah. When I was on the school board,
Thank you.
that's right. When I was on the school board, we did ban sodas from our high schools. Okay. Thank you very much. So with that, public comment is now closed, and we will now go to item number 4. If the city clerk could read that item into the record, please.
Sure. Item number 4, DWP report resolution relative to agreement contract extension with MWH Americas Incorporated. We have staff from the CAO as well as DWP. This is contract extension for 9 months to an existing agreement with DWP and MWH.
Thank you. Mr. Koretz had some questions on this item. Mr. Koretz?
I really just had one. This item focuses on using underground water and access to that to help mitigate some of our requirements at Owens Lake in terms of dust. Previously, you all have mentioned looking into other ways of addressing the dust problem. Is that research mesh and that effort mesh with this, or is this replacing those concepts like gravel, et cetera? How's it all fit in?
Marty Adams, Director of Water Operations, LA Water and Power. That's a great question. On the lake, we do hope that we will be able to use waterless dust controls where we have had very limited ability to do that in the past, which, as you mentioned, might be soil binders or some kind of tillage that could greatly drive down the costs. There are places on the lake where, because of the lake surface is so kind of soupy and there's so much liquefaction, but yet it gets a salt crust that does emit dust, that there's really not a lot of other good solutions other than putting some form of water. So it's been long believed that there's water under the lake at real deep depths. There's briny water that could be used for some of that dust control. So this study would allow us to complete proving that point. And if we actually were able to get 20,000 acre-feet of water a year from underneath the lake that had no impacts to the surrounding environment, it would probably save our ratepayers about $10 million a year in replacement costs. So, but you're right, they do go hand in hand. We're trying to use this water only where we have to, and where we do have to, we like to find some local sources instead of aqueduct water.
So this obviously would be a good mesh, because there are some parts of the lake that, which I didn't understand, which can't be mitigated except by some form of water.
That's correct. And that's one of the problems we're facing in the current orders that we're challenging, is that because our 2 takeouts out of the aqueduct are already maxed out, some of the new areas that we're supposed to control are going to have to use water because nothing else will really work. And so we're trying to take water away from other areas where we would have had a better choice in the past. So try to ration the water where it needs to be used, hopefully this being one of the sources, and then also get away from water wherever possible.
And there's also still questions of how much of the dust is created by the city's past activities and how much we're being asked to do work that we didn't cause. I guess all those things are all parts of the same puzzle.
It's all related, and just last Friday we had our appeal hearing in front of CARB up in Sacramento as the first step of appealing the Phase 9 order, and just last evening we received the Phase 10 order. If we had to do the dust controls on those 2 orders, that'd be another $400 million of projects that we don't believe the city's responsible for.
So presumably we're responding to that.
Yes, we are.
As well. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Koretz. And so we will, since we don't have a majority or a quorum to move this forward to full council, we'll have this as a report of the chair to the full council.
Sure.
So we'll move that item to council. Thank you very much. And now we'll go to item number 1, please.
Item number 1, DWP report relative to the status of its 2012-2013 power and water rate proposal, energy efficiency, and water conservation programs. This is the 3rd, I think, installment of educational informative PowerPoints that have been presented from DWP to the committee. We have staff from DWP.
Thank you. So we'll hear the staff report, and then we have a number of public comment cards that we'll listen to, and then we'll have the committee discussion. Welcome.
Good afternoon, committee. My name is Mark Slotchek. I'm LA Water and Power Director of Environmental Affairs. I'll just give a short background and then turn it over to David Jacob. DWP has doubled our energy efficiency program for the next 2 fiscal years. We've just had it approved by our board on May 24th, which has aggressive new targets that we're planning to meet. It's one of those items where adding additional staff, working closely with community groups, government agencies.
One moment, please. Can you speak more into the mic, please? If you could bring that closer to you. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, thanks.
My name is Mark Slotchek of LA Water and Power. We've just within the last month, we've doubled our energy efficiency program. It was approved by our board on May 24th. We're looking at ultimately a goal of over 10% by 2020, energy savings goals up to 15%. In addition to increasing our budget, we're adding additional staff. As of last Monday, David Jaco is our new director of energy efficiency. He came from Edison with over a decade of experience working in energy efficiency programs. So I'd like to turn over to David to talk about the specific elements of what we're doing over the next 2 years.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thanks, Mark. Good afternoon, committee. Okay, I just wanted to take us through a quick overview of energy use in Los Angeles. It breaks down to about a third of the energy use is in the residential sector, and the other 2/3 is split between the commercial and the industrial sector, with the commercial comprising the largest share of consumption in the city. That totals about 25,000 gigawatt hours per year, and the department recorded a peak load of a little over 6,000 megawatts back in 2010. That proportion between residential and what we call C&I, commercial and industrial, you'll see that again when we get to the dollar figures we have budgeted for the next several years. Back in December 2011, the department adopted a goal based on a March 2011 energy efficiency potential study that set a consumption reduction target of 8.6% over the next 10 years. After further evaluation, we believe we can achieve higher levels of energy efficiency cumulatively than just 8.6%. We will be conducting a new potential study to finalize this, but we're certainly committed to hit the 10% target, and we're evaluating and we've preliminarily put together a portfolio to achieve 15%, up to 15% reduction in consumption through efficiency by 2020. And we'll be integrating peak load reduction and demand response into these energy savings efforts. We believe that energy efficiency is one of the most effective ways, policy tools to leverage to achieve job creation. And so our plan for energy efficiency over the next several years has a strong focus on providing programs that serve all customers in the city, all segments, residential, commercial, industrial, government, institution, etc. We also plan to leverage state and county programs to the extent that they're available, and there are a lot that are available. We will be providing new options for existing building stock, in other words, retrofits, as well as new construction, both in the commercial and residential arenas, which will also contribute to job creation. We're providing new options for our industrial customers, as those customers often have large opportunities for energy efficiency, but that are also capital intensive and require a significant upfront investment. We'll continue to make a cost-effective portfolio a priority by developing new programs to reach commercial customers, and especially focusing on small business customers, and you'll see that in some of the new programs I'll take you through here in a minute. These will create green jobs in the city while we place a heavy emphasis on stakeholder participation. So what gets us to these 10 to 15% energy savings cumulatively between here and 2020? There's a lot, but I'm going to take you through 8 bullet items between this and the next slide, just to give you a sense of what we're planning. We'll be increasing program offerings for commercial customers, such as lighting, direct installation, and HVAC tune-up. The direct installation program in particular is one we're very excited about for its opportunity both for job creation and reaching hard-to-reach small businesses that struggle to implement any type of energy efficiency otherwise, and thus present a great opportunity to help us reach our targets. We'll be approaching older to old buildings, in a new way, using the retro-commissioning program. which is in pilot mode now, but we are committed to make it a permanent program. It's essentially a tune-up program for old buildings, and there's a lot of energy efficiency potential there as well. We'll be rewarding innovation, including strategizing and co-investing with our commercial and industrial customers and contractors. And that's an important point. A lot of energy efficiency work is done by lighting contractors, HVAC contractors. And where we can work with those folks, they in turn serve as a key delivery channel to drive energy efficiency into our built environment as well as create jobs. As I said earlier, with investing in industry, helping them with large system changes so they can have substantial energy savings, coupled with the fact that they do have high barriers to achieving those savings due to the capital expense. Conserving for Our Kids program in coordination with LAUSD, that's another program we're very excited about for the next several years to help our schools. The former weatherization program that was an ERA-funded program in the past several years, we have internalized. Now that the ERA grant is running out, we're bringing that in-house as an income-qualified and multifamily program, and we'll make that a long-term offering. That helps us get to the hard-to-reach residential folks. A lot of folks out there struggling. We'll be adding incentives and developing an expanded menu of rebates for residential customers who aren't necessarily low income and do have the wherewithal to invest heavily or to invest on their own, and we'll be leveraging some of those strong state and county programs I mentioned already in place, such as the Energy Upgrade California Comprehensive Home Retrofit Program. We're going to be launching behavioral programs, working with our customers and establishing partnerships to apply research on effective behavioral programs. These are also known as conservation programs, thermostat programs. Not traditional energy efficiency, but energy savings, definitely, and bill savings for the customers. And there's a lot of potential. And finally, we're going to be exploring the water energy nexus. The department is uniquely positioned as a vertically integrated water and electric utility to explore where its conservation efforts on the water side add up to energy savings on the energy side. The state has been looking at this in earnest since 2006, or earlier, I should say. When I was at Edison, I headed up the portfolio of water energy pilot programs that the CPUC directed the utilities, the investor-owned utilities, to create back in 2007. And it showed a lot of potential, and especially within the department's territory, we were very excited about the Southern California potential for energy savings due to water conservation. The next two slides will just give a list of, I'll give you a rundown of existing and new programs. I won't get into a tremendous amount of detail on any of these unless you'd like me to, although I do have, after this, a spotlight on three particular areas that I wanted to call attention to. For residential, I will point out we've got about $63 million budgeted over the next 2 years. For commercial, on the next slide, you'll see that's about $202 million, I'm sorry. But the significance of that is that that's roughly the same proportion of budgeting for energy efficiency as we see in the split in our load between residential and commercial customers. We want to make sure we're reaching into all corners of the market as deeply as we can. On the residential side, the existing programs, which will continue, are the Consumer Rebate Program, refrigerator recycling, and the Low-Income Refrigerator Exchange. New programs include the formal extension of the Income Qualified Weatherization Program. We're bringing that in-house. The behavioral programs, AC Tune-Up, a residential lighting program, Energy Upgrade California, and a home electronics program. That's important. There's an increasing share of a home's energy use is related to plug load. For commercial customers, existing programs include the commercial lighting program, chiller, HVAC chiller and refrigeration program, custom performance, new construction. We're looking at, we have done some energy efficiency loans, and we're looking at the opportunity to expand that offering. Energy audits and technical assistance, which help our commercial customers identify opportunities for energy efficiency and really internalize the value of making those investments. certainly with our assistance in the form of rebates. New programs we're launching, like I said, the retro commissioning rebates program, that's extending the pilot and scaling it up. The LAUSD efficiency program, the lighting direct install program, we're looking at HVAC rebates as well, and the Custom Performance Plus, which is an expansion of our Custom Performance program to really help those industrial customers that have big opportunity but also high barriers in terms of the size of those projects and the upfront investment, get over the hurdle of making those investments. 3 areas I wanted to spotlight. The first is how our portfolio going into the next several years is working with our residents. The Income Qualified and Multifamily program will be a direct install program. Direct install means that we qualify a customer, and if they're qualified and they have the need in terms of the equipment that's there, we install it for them. We don't pay them a rebate to do it themselves, we do it for them. It's a very effective approach. We'll be leveraging state and county programs already in place, such as Energy Upgrade California. We'll have new and enhanced incentives for homeowners that are willing to make their own energy efficiency investments, such as the Home Electronics Program, HVAC rebates, and Energy Upgrade California. And we're also looking at ways we can reduce peak usage. That's an important piece in energy efficiency, is reducing peak consumption. The department has a fairly low load factor, a fairly high load factor, I apologize, that makes it difficult with capacity at times. So not now, but in the future, that's a concern with all utilities. The next area I'll spotlight is the Conserving for Our Kids program and helping our schools by working closely with LAUSD, which is our single largest customer with 800 school sites at least and multiple buildings at each location. Their total energy load is more than 1% of that 25,000 gigawatt hours, more than 1.7% of that 25,000 gigawatt hours I mentioned at the start. And so we'll be partnering with them very closely this year and the next year and beyond to address their needs, which are substantial. And the opportunity for energy savings is substantial. Finally, a spotlight on behavioral programs. It's not just what you use, but how you use it. Again, this gets into energy conservation, but it's a very exciting frontier in energy reduction research, energy use reduction research. Where we will help LA conserve by changing our energy use patterns, educating customers, and partnering with the community. This will include providing customers with individual usage information and the ability to do household usage comparisons, where they can see how they perform relative to an average for their housing size, for their housing location, for their housing vintage. It's kind of like an EPA mileage rating on a car. We'll be taking community partnerships up a notch and integrating a formal customer community education campaign. We'll be outreaching to community groups and customers. And finally, partnering with city departments to reduce energy use through modified and energy-conscious employee behavior. That's the Green Angel campaign. So in conclusion, we anticipate and we plan for these exciting new offerings with the increased budget to help us achieve more than 10% energy savings cumulatively between here and 2020. We're very excited that to be making energy efficiency such a large part of the department's procurement strategy going forward as a least cost procurement resource compared to new generation. Like I said, we're pursuing a target of 15% reduction by 2020, and we'll be conducting a new energy efficiency potential study for 2013 to confirm the cost effectiveness of higher energy savings, identify ways to reduce that peak demand, and make sure we can get cost effectively to the targets we've set.
And one thing I should add, the water conservation part will be presented to you on August 1st.
Okay. Great, thank you very much. Do you have some questions now, Mr. Koretz, or?
I do have a couple
Sure,
of
go ahead.
questions. First of all, I want to thank the department for raising your energy efficiency and conservation goals. I think that's very admirable, and I'm very excited about that. So I want to recognize you for that. On the water side, how does the Bay Delta Peripheral Canal fit in with our water conservation efforts? Could the costs of those actually interfere or threaten our water conservation efforts because we wouldn't have the money to do them? And could our water conservation programs actually replace the need for the Bay Delta Peripheral Canal?
I don't know if Marty Adams is here, that may be a little broader topic than just this item. But what I can say is, and David alluded to it, in terms of whatever we can save in terms of water conservation is going to result in a benefit of energy efficiency savings, because the water needs to be pumped over the Tehachapi's, and it's you generate about 1 metric ton of greenhouse gases for every acre foot of the water we're pumping. So whatever we can do on this part will ultimately help the water system and our water conservation programs too.
So in theory, if it reduced the need for that program and others, it would save us obviously on both sides of the equation.
Correct.
So should I wait until the water conservation report for that? Would that be better timed?
And we'll add that as an item to talk about the Bay Delta.
Okay, yeah, if they could be prepared to make that presentation as part of it, that would be great. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So we'll listen to some public comment now. We'll ask probably for you to come up afterwards so we could answer some more questions from the committee. Our first speaker is Kokai Kwa Jitahidi.
Councilman, you did a really good job with my name.
Pardon me?
You did a really good job with my name.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Councilman Weezar and Councilman Koretz and all the other members on the committee. Thank you for your leadership on our city and on these very important issues. My name is Kokai Kwaji Tahidi, and I'm a senior organizer with the Repower LA campaign. And we are a broad-based organization of community-based organizations, small businesses, labor, environmental groups, groups that do work around workforce development, and a whole host of groups, around 44 members throughout the city who are doing work to make sure that DWP does the kind of things that they're talking about today. And we really want to commend them on their increased commitment around energy efficiency, because really do think that energy efficiency has so many benefits to our communities. Not only will it save us money on our energy bills and help us reduce our carbon footprint, but definitely create jobs for our community, which is so needed at this time. As well as we think there's also a great social equity piece in energy efficiency. Not everybody can sometimes afford many other things, but everybody can conserve and everybody can participate in energy efficiency. So we definitely want to make sure that people commend the department for the work that it's doing, but although we need to push them further. For the last year and a half, we've been talking to people across the city. You'll actually hear from Paul Goodwin, who will give you some results from a poll that we recently did that shows that the work that we're doing is very popular, and we've engaged them around the new energy efficiency programs that make sense on an environmental level, a job creation level, and a fiscal responsibility level. We've talked to neighborhood grocery stores. We've talked to many businesses. In fact, we walked down Cesar Chavez and talked to many of the businesses in your district, Councilman Weezar, who are very excited about the possibilities of this program. We've actually talked to businesses in your district, Councilman Koretz, and talked to many of the people who are not only business owners and property owners, but people who have businesses who rent, who are very excited about the possibilities of these programs. And so this is just the beginning. We're really excited to be working with the Department of Water and Power in the city. And we really hope that as our different speakers come up, that you hear about the great potential that this program that Repower LA is pushing forward has for the city, because we can not just talk about cutting things, but we're at a point where we can actually talk about building things for once. And so we're really excited about that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Paul Goodwin.
Thank you. I'm Paul Goodwin, Goodwin-Simon Strategic Research. We recently completed a telephone survey of 600 registered voters in Los Angeles about the Repower LA program. I just want to share quickly a couple of key findings. First, we found overwhelming support for the program. More than 8 in 10 voters said they want to see expanded energy efficiency programs at DWP that create good career path jobs, save struggling customers on their electricity bills. So that's 86% who thought it was a good idea, 63% who thought it was a very good idea. That's a really unusual, in many ways unique finding, crosses all the partisan, race, age, and geographic barriers that usually divide us in policy issues. It brings us together rather than dividing us. Second, we found that voters are clear that they want energy efficiency programs to serve specific target groups in the city. Namely, 72% think that serving low-income homeowners should be a high priority for energy efficiency efforts. 62% think that serving our city's small businesses should be a high priority for our energy efficiency programs. Third, 68% of your constituents say it is very important that we use efforts to increase energy efficiency in LA to help create good jobs for LA residents. 71% say it's very important to reduce smog and air pollution by cutting back on the use of coal for electricity generation, which is one of the things Repower LA will help do. So, Repower LA and the utility pre-craft training program, which IBEW Local 18 launched with the department, appear to be one of those rare public policy ideas that generate not only broad but enthusiastic support from the electorate. Voters appreciate that it not only creates needed jobs with union benefits, but does so while cleaning our air, reducing electricity bills for 10,000 homes and businesses a year, and lowering electricity costs for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Vasquez, Ms. Vasquez. I'm trying to make out the first letterings for your first name. Aura. Okay.
Yeah.
Aura.
So-
A-U-R-A?
Yes, A-U-R, Aura, Aura, in whichever fashion you like to pronounce it. So good afternoon. I'm Aura Vasquez. I am a representative from the Beyond Coal campaign in the Sierra Club, and also a member of the Repower LA Coalition. We are especially pleased and excited to hear, and we applaud LADWP's steps to move us for a more green and clean future. So we are especially excited that DWP has really taken some thoughtful steps to invest in energy efficiency programs that will translate to a lot of local opportunities, local jobs, better, cleaner environment, and also just envisioning LA to become this new green industry that I think it will be very excited for all of us. We feel that this is a great beginning, that the city can get to their main goal very soon, and the 10% that they're trying to achieve is definitely something that is exciting, and we can all achieve it. We would like to see a plan in place to ensure that the DWP's renew investment in energy efficiency translate also to a much larger reduction in energy use for the utility and greater bill savings in its customers. So on behalf of the Beyond Coal campaign and on behalf of the Sierra Club, we're really on support of this campaign, and in addition to what the WP's efforts are to move us beyond coal and also to a more energy efficiency future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ernest Melendres.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Ernest Melendres. I'm with an organization called Friends Outside. I'm here today to represent a partnership with Repower LA, and I'd like to thank you for allowing us to speak. Repower LA represents a unique opportunity to create real jobs in our community at this critical time when unemployment is at its highest. Friends Outside works directly with formerly incarcerated people. What we do is work with formerly incarcerated people to help them create better lives in our community. Finding jobs at times is often hard for this demographic and then it offers a lot of hardships for these people. With unemployment at its highest, at 20% across the city, our clients are faced with an extreme hardship, and with their backgrounds, it makes it even harder. Through our partnership with Repower LA, we are focused on creating real job opportunities through IBW Local 18. The utility pre-craft training program offers this opportunity for these individuals, and we appreciate that. We want to make sure that the jobs that are going to be open for these individuals are often looked at, and we want to include these individuals with backgrounds and barriers in this employment opportunity, and we hope that you'll help us in this process. I work hard with these clients, and I know extremely how hard it's not only on them but their families. It affects me personally, and working with all these individuals, it just hits me in a real soft place, understanding how these individuals are extremely. We'd like to thank you for the opportunity, and I think Angelenos can really deserve this opportunity, and especially the individuals that are hit by this population. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Diap Bangko.
How you doing? Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. My name is Diap Bankoli, and I'm here as a partner of Repower LA. I own 4 apartment buildings in the city of Los Angeles with 28 families that I serve. And as a partner of Repower LA, I'm really enthused about their proposal and basically trying to make the homes and apartments more energy efficient. As a small business owner and landowner, I understand the cost, the cost for the electricity and water usage. I pay for the water and exterior lighting, and the tenants, they pay for electricity. Repower LA, one thing that's very unique about their proposal is that their proposal is going to benefit not only homeowners, but it's also going to benefit landlords and tenants, because most of the tenants that I have are mid to low level income, and so trying to save some money on the bottom line will be very, very helpful. Last month, I know that Department of Water and Power, they approved an increase in the budget, and I just hope that Repower LA will help allow the tenants to benefit in saving electricity and water. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Joe Donlin.
Good afternoon. Joe Donlin with Strategic Actions for a Just Economy, also known as SAGE, here with the Repower LA Coalition. I was there on May 24th at the DWP board vote to increase the energy efficiency budget, and know that that's a promising development towards, what could be a really strong green jobs program that will not only cut down on energy use and reduce energy costs, but also reduce energy costs for local residents. Today I stand with Repower LA Coalition to call on the city and DWP to create a program that benefits the majority of our residents who are tenants, renters, especially those low-income renters. As was just shared, tenants have the opportunity to benefit from a program that's well-structured and well-planned, and we want to make sure that they do benefit from an energy efficiency program, not only by the first recommendation we have is targeting high poverty areas where there are high concentrations of low-income renters. There's also an issue of the selection of buildings. Of course, you have good landlords, and then you also have bad landlords or slumlords. And those who operate those kinds of buildings, should be selected out, especially those who are in REAP or in other programs like that. And a really important piece for tenants is the education and outreach program that was mentioned, that needs to target low-income renters in a face-to-face way so that they recognize what the program is about, how they're benefiting, and how they shouldn't face costs around it, because some bad landlords actually use modernizations or improvements to buildings to say to their renters, hey, look, we're improving the building, you need to pay me more for rent, or hey, you need to move out because we're changing light bulbs or something, actually use it to increase illegal evictions. We want to make sure that this program that's going to be fantastic to create green jobs and, reduce our city's energy consumption can be sure to benefit those low-income renters who stand the most to benefit from a program like this. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Abraham Hernandez.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Abraham Hernandez, a member of SCOPE, a resident of South LA, and also a member of the Repower LA Coalition. I'm here today because I've been unemployed for the past 2 years. I represent thousands of Angelinos who want to work but who are having trouble finding stable employment. We are excited by the Repower LA's proposal because it links energy efficiency investment to a plan to create opportunities for people like me by building on the IBEW Local 18 successful utility pre-craft trainee program. The opportunities provided by IBEW Local 18's UPCT program is what we need because they're not just jobs, but they provide the opportunity to a solid middle-class career. The training employees receive is top-notch and ensures that workers are safe, the consumers get the best services, and that our investment produces real energy savings. The initial UPCT program has provided opportunity for people in need of good jobs, and we need to expand it and ensure that LADWP focuses on job creation through energy efficiency. We have a long way to go to put everyone back to work, but we have a real opportunity to put people back to work, upgrading our homes of low-income customers and small businesses, a service that would save them anywhere from 15 to 20% on their bills. That's pretty big savings in their economy where every dollar counts. Let's make sure the jobs created are pathways to prosperity for some of LA's hardest hit communities. We don't just need jobs, we need good jobs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So if our staff could come back up, please. We have some final questions from the committee. And let me begin by asking, you've increased the target in terms of what we think we can increase for our efficiency, 15% by 2020. And then you've outlined several programs, and I know it's very difficult, but is it possible to kind of quantify what each of these programs will contribute to the additional efficiency?
Yes.
Because it seems like now we just have we're going to do all this to get to this place, but we don't know how much each will contribute, and perhaps some are better than others.
We have detailed budgets from here until the end of this period for all these programs with the expected dollar requirements as well as the expected savings, gigawatt hours and megawatts.
Okay.
Now, that said, it's a forecast, and obviously some programs will be more successful than others and some will be more cost-effective than others, and that's the essence of a portfolio, is that we rebalance as we go. But we do have, like I said, detailed budgets for all the programs.
Okay. We look forward to looking at those. I know my staff and I would be very interested in seeing what that is.
Okay.
And secondly, LUSD, it's probably one of the biggest bangs for our buck, if you want to put it that way, to get some efficiencies. And given their financial situation, what types of programs will you have at LUSD? Is it solar? What will you be doing to achieve the results we want there with efficiencies?
It will largely be direct installation.
It's insulation, mostly
Yeah.
insulation?
Direct installation of energy efficiency measures, primarily lighting, but there's also some HVAC control strategies and perhaps some quick envelope, in other words, weather stripping, insulation type measures we can do. But the largest strategy is indeed, because they do not have the money to invest in energy efficiency, we'll be looking at a direct installation model similar to what we're doing for small businesses and income-qualified residential.
Okay, well, I understand that was it Measure Q, their last bond measure, which is mostly for modernization. Most of their construction new schools have been completed with the last 3 bonds, and the funds will be available for modernization, I think, in either 2013 or 2014. So I think that presents a great opportunity for DWP to work with the school district to put in more energy efficiency items that could help improve the efficiency. It's a great opportunity to do it. And so I'm not sure what's going on in terms of the planning for this. I think that's going on now. But we should insert ourselves so that whatever they're going to do with modernization, that it's all includes energy efficiency as well. So I'm not sure if those discussions have been going on or not.
Those discussions are ongoing, and we are planning to leverage that as part of the direct install model.
Okay,
We're having monthly meetings with their facilities management staff.
Oh,
and
excellent.
weekly internal meetings, specifically on LA Unified.
Great.
Mr. Chair, as a follow-up on that?
Yes, Mr. Kretz.
Just want to ask, is there any way for us to use our new feed-in tariff program to involve LAUSD in solar installation?
Yeah, that's on a separate track. We are looking at just our solar program in general, and that's sort of a separate element for energy efficiency.
So do we think we'll be able to get anywhere with that one and save LAUSD some money? Because they certainly need that as well as the energy conservation element to it.
We're still looking at that one, too.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And on the low-income customers and neighborhoods, can you be more specific as to what we will do in all these efficiency efforts to assist low-income residents?
Well, it's an income-qualified program looking at, and I'm not sure exactly what we're going to set as far as the criteria for what income qualifies, but generally it involves sweeping through a neighborhood, kind of prepping the neighborhood by doing outreach in advance to make sure everybody's aware. Certainly for multifamily, and the large majority is multifamily, working with landlords, property owners, property management firms, et cetera, to line up properties and coordinate with the tenants. But it primarily consists of looking at the lighting, the weather stripping, of course, if there's opportunity with any HVAC, not upgrades, not equipment swap outs necessarily, but just, the tweaks that can be made. And also refrigerator replacements. That's a big one.
Okay. And, fine. Well, that's all my questions I have. I look forward to continue this conversation. It's a very important one, obviously, for a number of reasons. And together with the water conservation report that we get in August, I see this as an ongoing conversation with the department and this committee to see how we can continue to move forward on this. But any other questions, Mr. Kurtz? Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I have, there was a research person, Mr. Goodwin. Now, you were hired by the department or by, who do you work for? Or you did this on your own? You thought you contributed time to this?
No, I was hired by Repower LA and Lane.
Oh, okay. And do you do this type of research on energy all the time, or is this something new for you?
I do a lot of research on public policy issues, stormwater issues, energy conservation, water conservation, a variety of.
Do you do political? Do you do political campaigns as well?
Yes, I do.
So you mix both, or what? They're all the same, huh? Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, CLA.
Next item, item 2 and 3 recommend that you take up together. actually, since they both relate to the Office of Public Accountability. The first one relates to a report from our office jointly with the CAO and the OPA, Ratepayer Advocate, relative to administration and operation provisions ordinance for the OPA, Office of Public Accountability. And item number 3 relates to a status report from the OPA regarding status of staffing for the office. And we've submitted a report jointly which addresses both issues. So I'll just start off, provide a general introduction on these issues, and I'll address any questions you have jointly with the CAO and Fred Pickle with the Ratepayer Advocate, as well as Fred Merkin with the City Attorney's Office. Just to give you a quick background on number 2, after the adoption of Charter Amendment I, which established the Ratepayer Advocate Office in July of 2011, our office was instructed jointly with the CAO and the City Attorney to work on operations and administration provisions for the OPA once the Executive Director was in. So when the Executive Director was sworn in February of this year, we started working on that. We already had a preliminary draft that we worked on closely with Council District 2, Krikorian's office, but we expanded it further when we sat down and worked with Fred Pickle with regard to those issues. So to just give you a brief background on it, the key areas of the ordinance relate to reporting requirements, consumer complaint provisions, the mission for the office, the vision for the office, as well as establishing the independence of the office, and basically the reporting relationships, the ability for the office to provide reports to various entities, including the council, the board, the mayor, the public in general, and with regard to independence, that it provides these reports, however, it's not instructed by anybody. So that's in essence the basis of the report. This ordinance is intended to be an initiating ordinance. We anticipate that as time goes on, Dr. Pickle encounters situations he may want to expand upon it, but it's to get things going.
Thank you. Well, welcome. Anything to add to that?
I thought you were going to be taking the next step on that.
Yes, no.
I'm pleased that we're getting this ordinance in place. It's not intended to be comprehensive. As we're doing this process for the first time in a manner that is unique in the U.S. and perhaps elsewhere, we're going to learn a bit as we do it, and we will refine it as we move forward.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, Mr. Koretz?
None at the moment.
Okay. Mr. Pickle, so this is moving forward to your satisfaction now to get sufficient staffing in place to do what you need to do?
Yes.
Okay.
The positions are now have formal specifications. We have job descriptions and 4 positions identified, and we have the personnel department working with us to get a headhunter going on searches.
Okay, good. We just want to make sure that you have all the necessary resources to do the job it is you need to do. And as we move forward, obviously things are going to pick up even more so the next few months with the proposed rate increase. And I don't have any questions. I just want to make sure that everything's working to your satisfaction.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And as another part of this, we do have a request for a small increase in the PA consulting contract to handle water issues in addition to the existing power tasks.
Okay. Is that part of the amendment here today?
Yeah. Yes, we've included it as part of the report.
Okay, great. So the appropriate action would be to move this to council, the report?
Yes.
Is it separate item, two items, or one?
You can move the report together and it'll address both issues. The first one addresses requesting the city attorney prepare the final ordinance.
Okay.
And then number 2, actually authorizing our office, CAO, and Dr. Pickle to execute amendment number 3 for $20,000 with PA.
Okay, that's so moved. Yes, sir.
And one minor issue, Bill Candick with the CAO's office. The cost of this amendment is $20,000 that will be reimbursed to the city by the Department of Water and Power.
Okay. With the concurrence, well, this would be a report to the chair, given lack of members here today, but we will move that item to council.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next item.
That concludes your agenda?
Oh, we did have one item, public comment
Oh, yeah.
card. Chuck Ray. Is Chuck Ray here? Yeah. On item number 2.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I'm Chuck Ray from Mar Vista. I've spent about 3 years advocating for the ratepayer advocate. Along the way, I was asked by the Department of Water and Power to be on their working group to help design a ratepayer's advocate function, which is a document that's considerably thicker than anything I've seen come out so far in the way of enabling ordinances. Last summer, I led a research group from UCLA's Luskin School of Public Policy, which also did a study on how the Office of Public Accountability might be structured. So I think I've got a little bit of background, and I've done a little bit of study on this. I like the report that you have before you. I think you should go forward with it, which you already have, and keep it as it is. Don't try and cut things out. Along the way, before this report came out, I did generate some of my own ideas that came from listening to stakeholders around the city, and I'd like to put that into the record and have you and your staffs read it. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you. We will take that. The gentleman here will put that into the record, and thank you for your comments. And yes, we've been, as a committee, and try to make sure that the intent of the voters through the charter amendment is being complied with, and secondly, that the ratepayer advocate has all the resources he needs to complete his job. Whether we agree or disagree with his conclusions at the end of the proposals that are made by DWP, our job is to make sure that he has what he needs to do his job.
I might point out that the ratepayer advocate is advisory only. He has no power to change. That's the council's and the board.
Great. Thank you very much. So with that, we'll move those items to council, and that adjourns this meeting, and thank you, Mr. Koretz.